everyone, it's Enjoy English School. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Minnie.
It's July 4th, and we're on pages 10 and 11 in your magazine. Today, our title is The Magic of Mellow Morandi Colors.
那我们今天7月4号在10到11页，我们今天的主题很有趣哦，是柔和又优雅的莫兰迪色。
So Morandi colors is obviously something you need to look at, but these are very soft, wonderful colors. And Minnie, I know you are a fan of Morandi colors. You wear them a lot.
我有很多莫兰迪色的衣服，瑜伽裤啊、上衣啊、洋装都是莫兰迪色。
Have you always worn this kind of softer color? This is what we call a soft color. It's not very bright or vivid, V-I-V-I-D. Those are very bright. Have you always worn these kind of colors?
No, I used to only have black in my closet. And then I changed after I stepped in yoga's world.
You know, but these are really comfortable colors. If you're at home and you want to feel relaxed and soft and warm and just comfortable, Morandi colors are like the best colors.
Exactly.
So let's look at our subtitle today. Colors that bring calmness.
那我们的副标呢是 colors 颜色，所以带来平静的颜色。我们后面看到 calmness 这个字，注意哦，是 calm 不是 clam 哦 ，clam 会变成蛤蜊哦。那如果是 calmness 的话，我们看到 ness 结尾，它其实就是一个名词结尾常见的屁股字。
Now, we can say clammy, but this is a very different word. When something is clammy, it's kind of cold, it's kind of wet. Usually, if you have like a fever or you feel sick, the next day, maybe you're kind of sweaty and uncomfortable. That's a clammy feeling.
How do you spell clammy?
Just like the animal, clammy, C-L-A-M-Y.
所以 clammy 呢就是很冷啊，很潮湿，很湿润，我们叫 clammy。
很糟糕的，非常不舒服的感觉。
所以跟 calm 完全不一样。
Okay, now listen, before we go to paragraph 1, we need to talk about Mr. Morandi. And he was a famous artist, and one of his big influences was Pablo Picasso.
所以在莫兰迪他的这个创作生涯，对他来讲影响力很大的一个人就是我们的毕卡索先生。
That's right, and we all know the name Pablo Picasso, but did you know that's not his full name?
啊，不是就毕卡索吗？
不是啦, so Picasso's full name is Pablo Diego José Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno María da Remido Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Ruiz y Picasso.
各位掌声鼓励鼓励。Are you a rapper right now?
That's his real name. Isn't that funny?
真的
I practice that a lot.
哎，这可以学起来，如果去讲给同学听很酷。
Everybody likes that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at paragraph 1. Anyone who wants to study fashion or interior design will almost certainly learn about Morandi colors.
任何想要学习时尚或者是室内设计的人，几乎都会知道莫兰迪色。
Yeah, you already know what these are. These are the soft colors. There's a little gray in the color. Let's take a look. Morandi colors are palettes of soft, neutral colors that are said to make people feel comfortable and make places feel cool and peaceful.
哇，这个句子好长诶。莫兰迪色是柔和且中性的用色风格，据说可以让人感到舒适，而且让地方感觉到凉爽和宁静。
Okay, pick up your highlighter. This word palette, 超级好用. So a palette in this story just means a range of colors.
Palette 这个字呢，它其实就是代表说它是一个色调的意思，它就是一个色阶，我们就会用 palette.
Also, it's that big plate that artists like to use when they're painting. That's called a palette.
那还有画家在用的那个画彩色盘，那个也可以叫做一个 palette.
And it's also the top part of your mouth. If you use your tongue and you touch the top of your mouth, there's a hard palate and a soft palate.
那还有我们的上颚，就是你舌头往上顶上颚那个部分，我们也可以说它是硬的或软的那个 palate.
Okay, let's continue to our next sentence. They are named after the oil painter and printmaker Giorgio Morandi, who was born in Bologna, Italy in 1890.
那他们是以油画家及版画家乔治·莫兰迪所命名。他于1890年出生于意大利波隆纳。
Now, when you look at Morandi's work, it feels like it's very old. But actually, he only died in 1964. So that's like 60 years. That's really like my mother was a teenager.
对，所以我们以为莫兰迪这个画家是很久以前的人，但他其实是在1964年的时候才过世的。所以，他其实也没有很久远哦。
Yeah, really, he has a very timeless look to his art. Timeless is one word, 就是 time, T-I-M-E, less, L-E-S-S. That's one word.
就代表说他没有时间限制的意思，就是说代表他很久远的意思。
Really, sometimes when you look at some art, you know it's really old. It has that very old feeling. And this one, you kind of can't tell. Was this made 200 years ago? Was it made 500 years ago?Or was it made 60 years ago? It's really hard to tell.
看不出时间的这种作品，你也不知道说他这个作品到底是多久以前做的，我们就可以用 timeless 这个形容词。
Now let's continue on to paragraph 2 here, and let's learn more about Morandi's art. All right, welcome back to Enjoy English School. Let's look at paragraph 2 here. Morandi was a productive painter who painted over 1,350 oil paintings.
好，我们接下来第二段呢，我们讲到莫兰迪是一位多产的画家，他画了1350多幅油画哦。
Now, let's compare the two numbers from the end of paragraph 1 and the start of paragraph 2 here.So we have a year, 1890. We will not say 1890 because this is a year. We have to say 两个数字, 1890. And then in paragraph 2, we have 多少个, like 它的图片. We're going to say 1,350 or 1,350 oil paintings.我们没有办法show 1350. That sounds like a year to us. Be careful here.
所以老师这边强调我们最后都是4个 digit 的数字哦，但是上面因为我们讲的是年份，所以我们会18、18一起念，90、90一起念，所以1890这是你表达年份的方法。但下面呢，我们有看到3位一撇，我们这边讲的是数量1350，所以在英文里面有2个表达方式，第一个是 1350， 另外一个是13个百再加上50 1350。
And most importantly, we will not say 1890 or 1350.
不要一个字一个字念。
It is super wrong.
这样大家想说，你是小班吗？
All right, let's continue. Throughout his early life, Morandi experimented with many different painting styles.
那在他早期的生涯当中呢，莫兰迪呢实验了许多不一样的绘画风格。
And earlier we talked about Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was so famous in Spain, and of course, he was a big influence on Morandi.
Influence 是 I-N-F-L-U-E-N-C-E， 代表是影响的意思，就代表毕卡索他对莫兰迪来讲是一个非常大的影响。
Now, another one of his big influences was Salvador Dali.
天才作家达利也是他的一个影响力很大的人。
You know Salvador Dali. He painted the clocks that kind of melted. That's right, the tall elephants with little skinny legs. That's him. Now, Salvador Dali was a very interesting guy.
Yeah.
And he was also very generous, but he was also very cheap.
他是一个很大方，但他也是一个很 cheap 很小气的人。
That's right, because Salvador Dali knew he was famous, and he loved to kind of like, today we would call him a troll. He loved to just mess with people. And so he would invite all his friends out to a big restaurant and order lots of food and lots of drink and spend lots of money. and he would never pay.
啊
That's right.
所以老师说达利他的个性他会很豪迈很阔气请大家一起出去吃饭然后点了一堆食物一堆酒然后自己没有付钱
So the waiter would say, okay, Mr. Dali, here's your bill. And he says, oh, okay. And he takes out his checkbook. 他的支票 And when the waiter's looking, he would write the check. He would turn the check over and then draw a really beautiful picture and then hand it to the waiter. And now the manager of the restaurant would never cash this check because maybe he'll lose $100 for this meal, for this dinner, but he could sell this check in this picture for thousands of dollars.
真的吗
So Salvador Dali would always eat for free.
哇塞所以他等于是有点像互惠的感觉我给你一张很有价值的图然后我不付你钱
That's right, because if you cash the check, you have to give it to the bank, and now you don't have an original Salvador Dali piece of art. What a smart guy.
那要像他还活着的时候就红才有办法
Yeah, listen, Salvador Dali has a million crazy stories. This is just one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue here. However, from his 30s on, that means after he turned 30, he began to focus primarily on painting natural forms and simple household items, especially those you might find in the kitchen, such as cups, bowls, bottles, and vases.
然而呢从他30几岁开始他主要开始专注于画自然形体的简单的一些居家的物品尤其是那些你可能会在厨房里面找到啊像是杯子碗瓶子或者是花瓶
Okay, we have a couple things to talk about in this sentence. Pick up your highlighters here. The first word we want to look at is primarily. Primarily, the base word is prime, and that just means the most important or the most simple.
那 primarily 呢这个字我们在这边看到它是一个副词一个 adverb 但是呢它是从 prime 这个形容词来的那 primarily 或 prime 它都是主要的最重要的意思
Okay, let's look at our next word, simple. Simple just means basic. And if you look at the Chinese, a lot of times it will say 容易. So you think, oh, you can also say easy.
No.
But that's not right.
No.
Right? So how are simple and easy different? Well, simple just means something that is not complex. 它不是复杂的. And the opposite of easy. Easy 的相反 is difficult. 困难的, right? Now, Minnie, I know how to be rich. I know how to be very rich. It's very simple. I will write a very famous Christmas song, just like Last Christmas, George Michael. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. It's so simple, right?
Yes.
And then every year you make a lot of money.
True.
But it's not easy. Why? Think how hard it is
to come up with a
famous song.
Catchy
That's right.
song.
It's very simple. That you will be a millionaire forever. But it's not easy.
老师觉得这个例子很好因为老师刚刚说赚大钱它是很简单的事只要你有一首好歌就很简单但是你要写出那首好歌很难呢对不对不容易啊所以 simple 跟 easy 这两个字在这一个内容里面就可以很明白的分出来它的使用方法是不一样的所以同学要很小心
Okay, and our next word is household. Household is a noun, and it's a pretty specific word, but here it's an adjective. It just means house as an adjective. It's things you use in your house every day. They're usually not very big, important things. They're kind of your cups and plates.
那 household 呢平常我们看到有可能是名词但我们这一课当形容词名词的话就有点像是 household registration
That's right.
Yeah, 就像我们去登记结婚或离婚或者是办出生等等的那个地方可是我们在这边当形容词的时候它就是代表说居家的啊家用的啊其实就跟 house 意思是一样只是我们把 house 变成形容词
And lastly, we have vases, V-A-S-E-S. This is a French word, so you can say vases. It feels a little too fancy for me for everyday English, but you can say it. That's fine. Vases or vases.
My husband is Canadian. He say vases every time.
That's because they have that French influence,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder That's funny because I grew up close to Canada, and I say a lot of my words like Canadians. I really do not say
But just not this one.
Yeah.
所以 vase, vase 都可以用啦，大家都听得懂啦。
That's right. Our next sentence begins, these items, these things are what we use in our everyday lives and are often overlooked.
那我们刚刚提到的啊，杯子、碗、盘子、花瓶，这些都是我们在日常生活中常常使用，而且经常被忽略的一些物品。
Okay, this is a really specific thing I'm going to teach here.
Okay.
Let's do it quickly. An item, 这个加强, it's one thing. It's like one fork, one plate.
所以 item 是一个项目、一个品项的意思，就代表说一只叉子或一个盘子，那是一个 item。
加强一个, that's right. When we say thing, we're talking about all the forks or all the plates in your house.
那当我们讲 thing 这个东西，我们讲的是一个算是统称，就是代表你家里所有的叉子、所有的盘子。
When we say stuff, 这个是不可数, this feels messy. These are unimportant things mixed together.
那如果我们讲 stuff stuff 东西，那感觉是很杂乱、很 messy 的，然后都是很不重要的，我也没有要细讲，反正就是摊在那里。
Okay, so this means you buy one item of clothing, 因为你很小心抽出这件衬衫. And you don't buy one thing of clothes because 你没有买一大堆的衬衫. That's right. And when your mother says your room is too messy, she says, pick up all your stuff because it feels very messy and unclean.
对，所以在这边有3个部分我们可以去想的举例。第一个是我们去 Uniqlo， 然后我们买了一件衬衫，那是我们买了一个品项 one item。但是我们不能讲 I buy one thing， 因为你没有买那个品项的所有嘛，你没有把一叠衬衫都买回家，所以你不能讲 thing。再来，你妈说把你的东西都收好 ，put away your stuff， 那个 stuff 就代表很混乱、杂乱、messy 的那些东西摊在那里的。
Okay, let's continue. Many of the same items would appear in several paintings as he would use them again and again as subjects.
许多相同的物品呢，会出现在好几幅作品之中，因为他会一次又一次又一次的将它们用作主题。
So Morandi, when you look at his art, he would always kind of peel the labels or kind of packaging off things. So there was no way to know what company this was. And that's what gives his art such a timeless feeling.
所以莫兰迪他在做这些物品的描述，应该说画作的时候，他会把那些 label 那些标签都撕掉，这样你就看不出来它是什么年份，看不出来是什么东西，就给你一种很 timeless 没有時間局限的一種感覺。
Simplicity, that means basic. Simplicity is what he stressed in his paintings.
Simplicity 很漂亮的一个字叫简约，简约就是他在绘画中一直在 stress 在强调的东西。
Our next sentence says, he only wished to use art to express what is found in the natural world.
然后呢，他只是想要用绘画来表达在自然界发现的东西。
So art really kind of shows you the artist and the person. Your art is a reflection of kind of your soul.
艺术它就是你灵魂的一种反射。
And Morandi's art were very soft colors, very basic items. Are you surprised to hear that he lived in a very simple house?
I'm not, because his art
It makes sense,
simple.
right?
Yeah.
It makes sense. And then Dali, who we talked about earlier, lived in a very fancy house.
对，
right.
他就是一个很豪华高调的人啊。
It just makes sense, right? Okay, let's get ready for vocab review. All right, it's time for vocab review. And our first word today is an adjective, peaceful.
那我们的复习第一个字是 peaceful， 形容词宁静的。
Number 2, to be named after.
那 to be named after 很酷哦，它是以什么什么命名的意思。
Are you named after anybody? Minnie?
Minnie Mouse?
You know who I'm named after?
Jesus Christ.
That's right, Chris. Number 3, to experiment.
那在这用 experiment 是一个动词，代表说实验的意思。
Good. You can experiment with or experiment on. There are lots of prepositions here.
介系词可以搭配 on 或 with. Experience on, experience with.
And next we have primarily.
这个字有点难念哦，大家好好练习 primarily 意思就是主要的，它是一个副词。
Number 5, household.
Household 在这边我们当形容词使用，代表居家的、家用的。
Number 6, we have a verb to overlook something.
Overlook something 就是代表你越过，没有看到它，就代表你忽视它。
Yeah, you don't pay attention to it. Number 7 is to stress.
动词强调。
But we also can feel stress, the noun, or I am stressed as an adjective.
名词或形容词有压力的意思。
And number 8, merely.Merely
就是只是
That's right. This is a strong way to say only. Okay, with that, we are done for today. But come back for tomorrow for day 2 of Morandi Colors. We got a lot of really good stories. And we're going to learn about what makes Morandi so special. For Enjoy English School, I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Minnie.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.